justice found in the Martin Zimmerman case. My good friend, brother from a different mother, Mr. Jonathan Narcissus, in the house. Needless to say, we disagree. You'll be listening.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Let's get it started in here.
Welcome to The View from a Pew, a conversation among Christians who are out to grow their faith by asking the simple questions, the tough questions, and the stuff you really wish your pastor would talk about. Come on now, let's reason together. It's your voice we want to hear. The phone lines are open, so join the conversation. Call 855-244-0077. That's 855-244-0077. Now, here's your host, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, thank you. 4 minutes after the hour on this, the 23rd day of July in the Lord's year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Remember, today is The View from a Pew. Tomorrow and Thursday, usually Reich is in sitting in with me, but tomorrow we have just a spectacular show for you planned. And I hope you Facebook and you Twitter this and you send it out on your social media. Pastor Mike Householder, senior pastor of Lutheran Church of Hope, and his big brother David, who is quite different from Pastor Mike. What I mean by that is David's a little more left. Well, okay, maybe a lot more left than senior pastor Mike Householder. And it will be the first time that I've had the two of them in the same room together. As you know, I've interviewed both of them numerous times. We tried to get the third brother, the conservative Lutheran Tim, here, but he's on vacation. So tomorrow, a special edition of the Wednesday View from a Pew, Pastor Mike Householder and his big brother, if you can imagine big brother David Householder in the house. All right, and then Reich will have Thursday and Friday, so we look forward to that. All right, my special guest today is former gubernatorial candidate, former school board member, Jonathan Narcissus. As Jonathan's somebody I wanted to call in here and talk about whether there was justice in the Trayvon Martin case. I think that's the question that needs to be answered. Because everything that's growing around that case isn't dealing with justice. It's dealing with emotions. It's dealing with race baiting. It's dealing with, I don't know, Kool-Aid drinkers. I think the question that we have to answer is, did the prosecution prove within a reasonable doubt that Mr. Zimmerman committed manslaughter or murder against Trayvon Martin? And the jury of his peers said, no, you say that they did that he should have been found not guilty. Right? You don't think there's justice for Trayvon Martin?
Well, what the question that I've answered again and again is that this case did not gain justice. Justice was not achieved. Justice wasn't achieved, Mac, from the very beginning of this process. There was no way originally to determine whether Zimmerman was guilty or not, because from the very beginning, the police were predisposed to believe in his innocence. So once they were predisposed to believe in his innocence, and the chief of police of Sanford ended up getting fired because he insisted upon it, then there wasn't going to be the process that actually would determine the facts. So then the second miscarriage of justice becomes when they say, we believe Zimmerman is innocent, but we're going to prosecute him anyway for political reasons. Now we're into the nature of the American judicial system, where it's impossible for justice to be achieved, and the only thing that can be achieved is the media circus that we did achieve. The only thing that can be achieved now is the exploitations of pre-existing divisions that are going to be inflamed by a media that saw this as very sexy. And so the real issue ought not be, did Trayvon get justice, or even was Zimmerman justly prosecuted, but it's what do we need to do to fix a fundamentally flawed criminal justice system. You have insisted that justice was done in this matter, but did you believe that Zimmerman, based upon the facts, not just the evidence that was presented at trial, but the evidence that they existed to even bring this to trial, did you believe he should have been prosecuted? Here's what the police believed. No. Here's what the prosecutors pretty much believe. No. So we begin with a broke criminal justice system because we now are prosecuting someone they believed innocent or not guilty or who couldn't be convicted.
Right.
Then it became an even greater travesty when we see come into play the two great factors that determine guilt or innocence in the American courtroom. One, the resources you bring to the table, and two, the jury. It is absolutely absurd to suggest that a first-year law student who just graduated from Drake, or a first-year lawyer who just graduated from Drake, is going to get the same outcome as, say, Alfredo Parrish. Nothing changing.
How does that relate?
Because justice in America is first, the outcome in the courtroom in America first depends on the team that you're able to afford. It's why a lot of innocent people end up pleading guilty and taking deals. It's why a lot of guilty people end up getting off because they have huge resources. Now, in these kind of high-profile national cases, it almost becomes impossible to secure convictions if for no other reason than you have all of these brilliant attorneys piping in, whether it's Casey Anthony or O.J. Simpson or whatever. You have all these attorneys that are giving the defense even a greater leg up.
Okay.
It's not always black and white.
All right, let's stop for just a second because I enjoy the way your mind thinks, but it's difficult to follow you down the road sometimes. Let's go back to a basic issue, not the only one, but just a basic issue, that the investigators investigating this case did not think charges should be filed. They were because what? Did Obama get involved at that point?
No, they ultimately filed him because of political pressure that arose out of his death. And even the Sanford police officer, this is a fact. He lost his job because he believed Zimmerman. So we have incontrovertible proof that on the part of law enforcement, there was no belief in the guilt of Zimmerman. They not only didn't believe he was guilty of second-degree murder or manslaughter, but they felt he was justified. Especially with Florida's stand your ground law.
Okay, now, here's the question, though. You said they succumbed to political pressure. From where?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it matters completely.
No, but Mac, why? And this is the tragedy of this case. That the African American community, had Trayvon Martin been killed by another black person, would not have cared. We have massive loss of life in Des Moines, black on black crime,
right?
And nationally on black on black crime.
This is black on brown.
No, actually, and I'll explain why Zimmerman's white. And that's one of the white. I will explain it if you give me a chance in a minute.
President Obama is more white than he is.
First of all, and I will explain it to you, Mac, in a minute. But if we can stick? Because here's what happens: you'll take me on a tangent, and then I get on a tangent, and you'll go, you're on a tangent. So if I can finish this point, so the prosecution never was brought a case. Once they gave into political pressure, it doesn't matter who brought the political pressure. The system is now acting not in the quest for justice, which is why we ought to move from an adversarial judicial system to an inquisitorial judicial system. But there's no opportunity to achieve justice. Either an innocent man is convicted or a guilty man goes free. There's no way to achieve justice when you have political prosecutions.
But you said it was political pressure. I want to know what that political pressure was.
Again, when we look at fixing the justice system, does it matter why the justice system gives in to political pressure?
If you have a recipe to make a cake and the cake fails, you don't throw the whole recipe out and say start again. You find out what ingredient or temperature or process of mixing goofed it up. Mac, the whole cake thing is not ruined.
Mac, the fact is that in America, the reason, first of all, if you're able to afford a great legal defense team, the facts and evidence almost never come into play. what comes into play is the brilliance and skill of your legal defense team. We know this. Second of all, we know that if you get to select a jury, you determine the outcome. Not only has this been true again and again, which is why you have high-priced jury consultants. That's why you have high-priced jury consultants.
I know them. They're friends of mine.
We know that if the LA police officers would have been tried in Watts or Compton, they would have been found guilty, exact same case. And had O.J. Simpson been tried in Simi Valley, he would have gone to jail.
Okay.
Nothing else different.
So what I hear you saying is juries have white guilt.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that juries convict based upon predisposed biases, which is why the O.J. Simpson jury found him not guilty.
Okay, then what was the political pressure that the sheriff was under, in which he was fired for? Because we don't have any defense cases or prosecution lawyers. We don't have any big names. We don't have any money. We've got a case that's been blown up by a president saying, this boy could be my son.
Well, but even before, President Obama didn't say that until after it came to national media attention. And it didn't come to national media attention until someone sitting in a newsroom said, or in a decision-making capacity for corporate media said, this is the case we want. Just like they said, Casey Anthony, this is the case we want. Mac, when the O.J. Simpson trial was going on, what other major and significant trial was going on in America?
I have no idea. It was 1994.
The first World Trade Center bombing.
Okay.
But it wasn't sexy. And the decision makers at CNN said, World Trade Center bombing, OJ, it's sexier.
All right.
So Matt, do you think if O.J. Simpson would have been tried in Simi Valley, that he would have been found innocent? And do you think the LAPD officers, if they would have been tried in Compton or Watts, would have been found not guilty of beating Rodney King?
Well, you're assuming that O.J. Simpson was guilty.
No, what I'm assuming is that the jury made a difference. This is why you have jury consultants who strike jurors. They don't say, and even at the federal level, this is not just with civilians. This even happens on with our federal jurists.
Okay, but what's the solution to that?
Well, and that's why.
How about the solution being we don't bring frivolous cases based on the emotion of our society?
Well, first of all, who determines frivolous and who determines not frivolous?
The facts.
Well, the facts.
The people paid to investigate that case in the first 5 days said Zimmerman was not guilty.
First of all, there's no empirical evidence in America that shows that prosecution is based on guilt or innocence. Otherwise, we would have seen Wall Street bankers prosecuted. Otherwise, Dr. David England would be in jail. Dr. David England was found with dope in every room in his house. He had children living with him. He was the custodian of young minds. He got sentenced to go to another state. Well, we have college students in this state doing time for smoking a joint, and we had 2 rural white kids who got caught smoking a joint in front of a 14-year-old and was facing 65 years in jail. It is absurd to suggest. It is absurd to suggest that in the American judicial system that justice is based upon facts and evidence. Justice is based on a lot of things, but rarely are the facts the criteria. Now we can fix this.
Well, but, all right, hold on.
But Mac, we can fix this.
Hold on. Just hold on. Just breathe. We're going to take a break. Frank, I see you there. As soon as we come back from the break, I'm going to give you the first opportunity to talk. And Jonathan, you're just too smart for me. You just got to talk to me like I'm, just white trash from Nebraska. We got facts here. There are facts. I have them right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines at 9 lines, printed lines of the facts. The defense claim is basically this: the prosecution didn't have a case.
Well, let me ask you a question, Mac. If they didn't have a case, then isn't prosecuting him an act of injustice? And then wouldn't that suggest that the justice system is broke? If in fact you're correct, and they had no case, and they prosecuted him anyway, put him in jail, took time from his life, put his life in danger because of the verdict, how is that justice served?
Well, it's not.
Then how can you defend a justice system that does that? You can't.
Hold on.
Broke.
I got to go to a break.
Yes.
It's the only system we have.
No, it's not the only option we have.
We're coming back. Jonathan Narcissus is in the house. Is Justice Served with Trayvon Martin. That's next.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician.
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
We've got questions. You've got the answer. Join the conversation. It's your voice we want to hear. So call 855-244-0077. Now, here's J. Michael McCoy.
21 minutes after the hour on the 23rd day of July, the Lord's year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Remember, tomorrow, Pastor Mike Householder and his big brother David, who's also a pastor out in Huntington Beach, together we'll talk to the brothers, the influence that their father had on them, and the differences of their interpretation of some of the Bible. Yes, even when the blood runs deep. My guest today is Jonathan Narcissus. We're asking the question, was justice served in the Trayvon Martin case? Let's go to the phones where Frank is standing by. Frank, you're live in The View from a Pew. How are you today?
Good. Hey, I listened to Jonathan.
I can't hear him.
I listened to... Is he hearing me?
Now, hold on. Okay, now try.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear him now.
Okay. I listened to Jonathan spill the other morning on Michelson's show, and it was the same thing. And I thought I was listening to the scene in Animal House where Tim Matheson was telling Greg, are we going to indict the whole system? And they all marched out of the room humming the Star Spangled Banner there. Here's a couple of things Jonathan missed in his diatribe. First, what part does he think the media played when Obama comes out and announces that, in essence, they've killed his son, and the media goes out to find out why this man killed his son? Do you think that played any part in contaminating the jury pool at all?
Do I get to answer that question?
Sure.
If you can do it in like 10 seconds.
Well, Frank, the whole reason the media selected this trial was so that they could exploit long-standing racial divisions and make money off of it. It's the same reason they picked the O.J. Simpson trial over the First World Trade Center bombing trial.
That's always comes into play, no matter what, if Al Sharpton is around. But well,
it's not just Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton doesn't make the decisions for CNN or MSNBC or Fox. So.
You missed the whole purpose of this trial. This trial, nobody gives a crap about Zimmerman. Nobody gives a crap about Trayvon Martin. Mm-hmm. This whole trial was fought over those who hate the Second Amendment, who hate the stand your ground laws, and hate the right to carry. And immediately, as soon as they didn't get the verdict they wanted, Benjamin, what's his name, the head of the NAACP, and Al Sharpton both said, we're going to go fight stand your ground laws everywhere we can in this country. That was their agenda all along.
Well, Frank, I love America and respect your right to your opinion. Here's what I want to do. I want to fix a broke judicial system. If your premise is that Zimmerman was innocent and he should have never been tried in the first place, then by the very nature of that statement, you are saying the system is broke because it prosecuted an innocent man, which is still wrong, Frank, in which case we need to focus on fixing the broke judicial system.
The problem of it is, Jonathan, we're not going to socially engineer our justice system. Our justice system.
Frank, there is a cure.
Frank's got a great point right there. We're not going to socially engineer it.
I'm not talking about social engineering. What I'm talking about, Matt, there's a cure. No, listen. Here's the simple fact. There is a cure to the broke judicial system. The problem is most people aren't interested in it because and the very reason the media picks cases like this, they go, what case should we take? Well, let's take one where we'll whip people into emotional frenzies and they will completely ignore the bigger issues. It's just like
hang on. You don't think for a second that the Senate getting shot down on the gun rights thing or the gun bill that went through over Sandy Hook, they whipped up a frenzy over Sandy Hook. Thought they was going to take away some of your Second Amendment rights. They didn't get it done because the Senate shot it down, and they exactly sought this case out like a laser because.
So where are we disagreeing? I'm going to say something that Chuck Grassley said to me once. You agree with me, I agree with you, so we agree with each other. The media is just like when you had the shooting at Newton. My first year on the school board, there was a shooting at a school. It was Cleveland Tech. Now, most people know Columbine and most people know Sandy Hook. Very few people know Cleveland Tech because people in the media said, we're not going to be able to make hay out of this. Hay and the goat out of this because a bunch of urban black kids got killed who wanted to be welders and mechanics. So Cleveland Tech never became an issue. When I said we ought to improve school security, I had my fellow school board members say we're sick of talking about security every time a kid's shot in America. Now, the fact is that the media makes the decisions on what to cover. This got huge coverage. When the Congressional Black Caucus went to Chicago and said we must deal with the epidemic of gun violence there, that didn't get much media coverage. You have African Americans who say we disagree. Charles Barkley went on one of the business shows. He was being interviewed at the golf tournament. He said, well, I don't think they had the evidence to convict. You don't see the big media wig saying, well, let's get Charles Barkley in constantly. The fact is, Frank, is that people make these decisions of what to present and what not to present. The bigger issue, though, Frank, is this. Can we fix a judicial system by your very assertion is broke? And the answer is yes.
Okay, but let me throw this into the equation. One of the female members, the lawyer.
Quit being so emotional, Frank. Let's be factual.
One of the analysts or whatever, one of the team of the lawyers, the female one who come out wearing the hoodie, she come right out and said, we want to move away from the justice system in this country where it's beyond a reasonable doubt, and we want to move into the realm of social engineering. Now, that was said
But I haven't said that, Frank. I haven't said that. So I can't defend her comments, Frank.
I'm not saying that, but let me ask you this. How do you want to tinker around our justice system? What do you want to replace the jury system with? What is it that's your ideal that we're going to find ultimate justice in this country? Because the bottom line is money walks, BS talks, and that's the way, BS.
So you're comfortable with empirical evidence that shows that our justice system is out of balance?
But you have got nothing.
It's a simple question
to replace it with.
Absolutely, Frank. Absolutely, we do. Absolutely, there's a solution
that nobody can put their teeth into. What are you suggesting in 1, 2, 3, 4 order we do to replace it with?
Frank, here's the thing. The media continues to whip the American public into these emotional frenzies, and so we ignore often the solutions that are right before us. First of all, judicial systems existed prior to the American judicial system. We have an adversarial judicial system. And the nature of an adversarial judicial system is that you have two sides that stand in opposition to each other. You have an antagonist and a protagonist.
Yeah.
Now, there's also judicial systems that exist in the world that are inquisitorial judicial systems that by their very nature are focused on the findings of the facts. Now, that didn't happen in this case.
Hold on.
Let me ask you, what fact didn't get found? What do you think should have happened to Zimmerman?
Why
here's the thing. The toxicology report? Can you imagine a drunk driving case where the toxicology report of the driver didn't happen, but yet Zimmerman, hang on here a second, Jonathan. For 4 months, we listened to nightly porn every night on our TV over Jodi Arias because she was trying to show she had justified cause in killing Travis Alexander. But yet Zimmerman could not bring any cause in to potentially why he had to defend himself against this.
Frank, can I ask you?
The media protected all this information.
Can I ask you a question, Frank?
Shoot.
Do you believe he should have been prosecuted in the first place?
No, I don't.
Well, the system did. Okay, so let me finish. So then he was. They took time away from him. They put him in jail. They made him a national villain.
And why?
Based upon, but the point, Mac, is this.
Because white people are afraid of a bunch of black people going out and rioting.
First of all, that's absurd, Mac. That's absurd. But the point is this, that if you believe that, then you are saying that from the very beginning, the justice system is broke. Absolutely.
The justice system is broke when Obama and the media stick their nose in it.
But Frank, what's the solution? Because I got a solution. Frank, I have a solution. Are you interested in a solution or just emoting?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Because Frank, you're emoting, but there is a solution.
Here's the solution.
Mac, there's a solution.
No, you're going to create a problem.
No.
You're saying there's a problem with our justice system.
Our justice system it broke. The evidence is incontrovertible.
No.
Mac,
the evidence that was brought forward, and I have it right in front of me in 9 lines, not 9 pages, not 9 chapters, in 9 lines shows that Zimmerman never should have been charged. Then he was charged because of social engineering.
Well, then you're saying the system's broke because you're saying an innocent man was prosecuted and persecuted, in which case, by the very definition in that statement, you're saying the system's broke.
Because
you cannot say an innocent man was prosecuted and persecuted and the system works. You cannot say that.
He was not prosecuted by the justice system. He was prosecuted by social engineering.
He was prosecuted by the state of Florida.
He was prosecuted by social
paid for by taxpayers. Taxpayers paid
Jonathan.
for. Taxpayers didn't pay for the prosecution. Public officials and government officials weren't in that courtroom.
And why?
Because the system's broken. This happens every day.
The system's broke because a bunch of black people got up and said it wasn't fair.
Absolutely.
We want to fight you.
Mac, that is part of what keeps the problem going. Mac, the system, first of all.
So you're telling me if Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson would have never gotten close to this case?
First of all, I'm saying that if we would have had, let's say we would have had a prominent African-American doctor who would have killed a skinhead, the verdict would have been the same. Now, had we had a skinhead follow a prominent black doctor and end up killing him, he'd be in jail. Had we had a black kid who followed a prominent white individual, he wouldn't even got a trial. He would have got a plea bargain. Mac, when we look at the judicial system, not this one trial, but when we look at it its entirety, we know that outcomes are based upon who the attorney is, who the prosecutor is, who the jury is. Facts and evidence are rarely the determining factor.
We're coming up against one of our last breaks, and we'll talk about this later. But here's, what do we have? We have a minute and a half, so I guess we do have a little more time to talk. What you're telling me is that the car is broken. The construction and engineering and building and selling and maintaining the car is broken because it doesn't stop a drunk man from driving it. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that, Mac.
You're
That's
saying
absurd.
No, it's not absurd. I'm telling you the justice system is fine if it's left up to the people in the justice system.
Absolutely not, Mac.
Oh.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
Then why did David England get to leave the state, and why are college kids in jail?
David,
seriously.
That's 10 years ago.
No. It happens still to this day. Why did Wall Street bankers not get prosecuted when we have tellers who get prosecuted for almost the same offense? Matt, we can fix the justice system, but not as long as we have this emotion-driven.
Right.
Because you know what the media did? They said, there's J. Michael McCoy. We're going to jerk his chain and get him caught up in this emotional thing.
Exactly.
Rather than saying, Mac, let's have an intelligent conversation about fixing a broke system.
And when the justice system does his job, I'm innocent. And all that noise scattered around me like wagons around the pioneers.
Johnny Cochran said it, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. Now, I remember when OJ got acquitted, there weren't a whole lot of folks who said he's innocent. They said, we got to make up new law and come at him again.
Yeah, right.
So you're saying OJ was innocent.
Don't talk over me.
I'm glad to hear you say
we don't
OJ
like
was
the
innocent.
answer, so we're going to find another reason to prosecute you. Do you think that Mr. Zimmerman is going to get charged with anything else?
It's possible.
No.
I think it depends on where the wind blows.
Yeah, it depends on what society thinks. Does it have anything to do with the justice system?
I think it depends upon what the Obama administration thinks.
Okay. Oh boy, isn't that scary? Obama can determine the life and death
Mac,
of somebody because they don't like the color of their skin.
Mac, we're now in the fourth term of the George W. Bush administration.
When we come back, I'm going to present some of the facts on this case and see if you don't think the justice system acted perfectly in this case. We'll do that when we come back live on KTIA.
If you choose to obey the power of sin, it leads to death. If you choose to obey obedience, it leads to righteousness.
Forgiveness is just the beginning of life in Christ. God wants us to live for Him now.
And because of Jesus Christ, the gospel was preached, and you and I are blessed today because of Abraham. Did you know that? We're blessed.
Experience Truth, 99.3 FM.
Yes, now your favorite programs on Webcast One Live can all be watched and listened to on any Android or Apple device. Your phone, tablet, or iPad. Yes, your favorite shows on Webcast One Live are available live or on podcast wherever you go. Let me introduce to you some of our great shows.
I'm Michael Libby. I'm the host of Insight on Business, the News Hour. We're seen live at 8:45 each Monday morning at Webcast One Live or whenever you want on my blog or on the internet. So what qualifies me to talk about advertising, marketing, and consumer trends? Well, it's my business. Insight Advertising, Marketing, and Communications has helped dozens of companies, small, medium, and large, learn how to use advertising correctly. And we pass that information on to you each and every week.
Hi, I'm Doc. You listen to me every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on Doc and Lefty radio podcast program, where we discuss all the relevant topics of the day, including state, local, and national politics. My partner in crime, Lefty, often likes to have a little bit of conservative justice served upon him, so please turn in for the fireworks every week from 6 to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays at webcastonelive.com. Thank you.
So when you want to watch your favorite Webcast One program, remember, there's an app for that. You know, there's an app for that.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America.